Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Been looking forward to doing this today, always do, just me, you and a brew. What better way to start a Sunday? So hope everybody's well, hope you're all enjoying this outrageously hot sunshine. It's going to get worse. So right, we'll start this week with the usual shout outs. I've got three new subscribers. I think one subscribed a while ago, but for some reason a lot of my subscribers are not actually showing on the channel. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's something to do with YouTube or something to do with the subscribers sort of privacy settings, but I think I've got something like 59 subscribers, but I think I'm only showing about 30 something, which is probably why I didn't notice one of these quite a while ago actually. But my three new subscribers, I'll just say a quick hello. There's Jordan, there's Will, and there's Ty, and these are all work colleagues. There's something actually very satisfying about finding out that your work colleagues are watching your videos. I'm really pleased about it, so chuffed. So welcome to the channel, guys. Anybody that wants to join the Facebook group, the RetroMovieZone ChitChat, feel free to pop over and join. I know Will has, because I sent him an invite and he responded to that. So if you other guys want to join up, feel free to do so. Right, that's that bit. Let's see. Welcome now to Dave Oliver. He joined the group last week. He subscribed to the channel the week before, and he joined the Facebook group last week. So welcome, Dave. I'll just quickly introduce some of the members to you. As I say, I've got probably 90 something members of the group. There's probably about 7, 8, possibly 10 that post regularly. Most, as is the way, tend to just sit on the side and just sort of, look at the posts and like them and stuff like that. But I've probably got somewhere between 8 and 10 members who do post regularly, so I'll just quickly run through them. First of all, we've got Chris. Chris is in IT. He's our IT guy. He does little videos every now and then. He did a cracker last week on Watership Down, which I'll be coming to a bit later on. Really nice guy, interacts well with everybody. Who else we got? Reading from my notes here again. Caroline. I've known Caroline for absolutely years. We go way back. Caroline's a lovely lady. I believe she works for a newspaper. I could be wrong. I know she used to work for the Burton Mail. So that's Caroline. Dave Lowe. Dave, if you didn't know, he designed all of the artwork for the YouTube channel, the headers. He did the intros for me. He also designed the X certificate BBFC thing for me. Without Dave, the channel wouldn't have a proper identity, because I can't do things like that. I'm not very clever with technology, but he's done an absolutely cracking job, and Dave joins in with a post. He posts every now and then. Big Kevin Smith fan. Who else we got here? Callie and Guy. Callie and Guy run a podcast called Hun Your Geeky Showing, and they do a podcast pretty much most weeks to do with fantasy TV, fantasy movies, horror movies, that kind of thing. I've guested on it a couple of times and really enjoyed myself. It's been great. So that's Callie and Guy. Mark. I used to work with Mark many years ago. He used to work at the place where I'm working now, and he posts pretty much every day. Who else we got? Steve McCartney. He's our Criterion guy. He does a video pretty much once a month to do with Criterion Blu-ray releases. Fascinating stuff. A lot of movies that you've never heard of. I always enjoy his videos. He always sort of introduces me to some movies that I've not heard of, and by the end of his video I've usually got a short list of movies that I need to check out. So that's Steve. Rick. Rick. Rick of old AF. We know about Rick, we've spoken about him before. Mad as a box of frogs, smashing guy, but completely fucking nuts. That's Rick. And Jason. Now, Jason, if we start to get all sort of arty-farty and above ourselves and this, that and the other, Jason will quite happily keep us grounded. He brings us crashing back down to earth with a great big bump if we start to get too sort of arty and pretentious and all this sort of thing. So Jace posts pretty much every hour, let alone every day. So you'll be seeing a lot of Jason. So that's pretty much the core of the group. That's what makes up, I think, these people are what make up most of the posts. As I say, Dave, you found this out this week. They're a very friendly bunch. They will interact with you anytime as far as your posts go. So as I say, welcome to the group, and I'm speaking for everybody on this one. Love the videos you've been posting, by the way. Keep them coming, and that pretty much goes for all of you. The more videos and posts that you put on, the more I've got to talk about over the week. So yeah, by all means, keep the videos and the posts coming. Dog's just walked in. Hello. I think she's going out. I'll try and leave this door open. If I have to leave the chair for a minute, do forgive me. I might have to let her back upstairs again. So yeah, keep the videos coming, Dave. Really enjoying them. Been loving the trailers that you've been putting on. I took a look at the trailer for Day Shift. It looks cracking, doesn't it? I'm not a massive, huge fan of vampire movies, unless they're Hammer or Salem's Lot. More on that one later. But this really does it looks very From Dusk Till Dawn-ish. Stars Jamie Foxx, and Snoop Dogg is in that one as well. So I will definitely have a look at it. It's on Netflix, or it will be on Netflix within the next few weeks. I'll definitely be taking a look at that one. What else did you put on? The new trailer for The Munsters. Now, again, not a massive fan of sort of the Addams Family Munsters type things. I've seen odd episodes of them, so this isn't one that particularly bothers me. The only thing that makes it worth possibly a look is the fact that it's directed by Rob Zombie, who did House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects. He's done some really extreme horror movies, so it could be worth watching for that. This is a much more family oriented affair, so it is one that I will probably have a look at, but I won't be pushing it to the front of the queue, let's put it that way. As I say, not a massive fan of the original TV shows, so I have seen the odd one, but it's not really my thing. But I will take a look at the movie just to see what it's like. On the other hand, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. For those of you that don't know, there is a movie being made at the moment called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and I believe it's going to be along the same sort of lines as the Banana Splits movie that came out 3 or 4 years ago, which was slated by the critics. They basically said it was nothing like the TV show. It bears very little resemblance to it. Anybody that goes into it thinking it's going to be something to do with the Banana Splits from the 50s and 60s, from the 60s, is going to be very disappointed. I haven't yet seen it. I keep meaning to track it down and take a look to see what it's like, but I get the feeling that this is going to be pretty much the same. The poster dropped this week and it looks amazing. It really does. It looks ridiculous, but it looks amazing. There are no details as yet as to plot or anything like that, but just the idea that they're going to turn Winnie the Pooh into a horror icon, I mean, you've got to have a look, haven't you? You've got to have a look at that. So that is one that I am really, really looking forward to. And as you said, Dave, it looks as if it could drop sort of Halloween-ish, something like that. I would imagine it's been made and it's in sort of the editing stage and all that sort of thing now. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, we'll get a trailer arriving sort of any week now. But that is one that I'm definitely, absolutely going to take a look at. Salem's Lot, the proposed remake, the remake that was supposed to be out in September has actually been pushed back to April. I think it's April the 23rd. Again, no details as to why it's been pushed back. I am looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of the original TV series. It terrified the hell out of me when it first screened on TV in 1977, so I'd have been 15 at the time. And I remember thinking that I'd never seen anything so frightening as an American TV series, because American TV series were sort of notorious for being sort of quite mild. Even the horror ones were, you know, pretty sort of tame. And then this came along, directed by Tobe Hooper, who made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, that should have been a massive signpost as to what it was going to be like. But it's lived in legend ever since, and anybody that remembers seeing it first time round, especially if you were young, you will never forget the image of that kid floating about outside the window, just scraping on the window pane. Oh my God, creepy as hell. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this remake. It's obviously going to be based on the Stephen King novel. I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, it's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be similar to the It movies, whereas you're going to get one chapter this year and probably another chapter in a year or two's time. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'll be keeping an eye on that one. But we won't be seeing that now until April 2023. So it's definitely going to be worth watching without a doubt, but we'll see how we go with that one. You also popped a trailer on called, or for a movie called Pray for the Devil. I'm sort of with you on this one. We've trodden this path so many times before now, possession movies. I won't lie, I am quite impressed with how it looks. It looks really, really good. But can anything really top The Exorcist? I don't think it can. Just excuse me 1 second while I just let this top back upstairs. Excuse me. Off you go. Good girl. Sorry about that. Where was I? Pray for the Devil. Yeah, it does. It looks all right. But it looks like pretty much every other possession movie that we've had over the last, 10, 15 years. I'll no doubt take a look at it. But I mean, how many times have we seen that crawl along the ceiling thing? That happens in pretty much everyone. The bending backwards and almost bending double, that's been in almost everyone. So they've gone for pretty much every cliche that they can think about. But I'll almost certainly take a look at it, see how it goes. You were asking about favourite possession movies. I mean, I answered this on your YouTube, but just for the other members, I'll answer it here as well. Favourite possession movie has got to be The Exorcist, obviously. Nothing will ever better that, and nothing will ever match the effect that had on everybody back. I mean, people nowadays watch it, young people, and they say it's funny and, it's not frightening at all. I still think it's as powerful now as it was all those years ago. And what you have to remember is you're going back nearly 50 years. You've got to understand that we'd never seen anything quite like that before. We'd had horror movies, but nothing as raw and as nasty as that was. So yeah, The Exorcist for me, every time. I still find it a difficult watch. I have seen it many, many times, love the movie, but I still have trouble with issues with certain scenes in there. I still find myself doing this and sort of thing. So, but yeah, The Exorcist is my favourite, and if I had to pick a second, I would go for Amityville 2, The Possession. The original Amityville Horror was a straightforward, creepy as hell ghost story set in a haunted house. Amityville 2 was more to do, it was a prequel, basically detailing what happened in the house before the Lutz family moved in, and it was all to do with the possession of the older brother And again, it was really well done. It was really, I thought it was scary as hell for the time. I think it came out about 1980. It was either 81 or 82. But yeah, if I had to pick another one, I would say Amityville 2. I'll throw this one out to you lot actually. What would you class as your favourite possession movie? I'd be curious. Just drop your answers in the comments on the channel or on the Facebook page. What else have I got written down here? Oh, your Night of the Creeps video. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. I haven't seen that movie for years. I used to work, as everybody knows, in a video shop in the late 80s. And Night of the Creeps was a movie that never did much. I remember it coming in. I didn't watch it at first, and it went out for probably about 5 or 6 nights on a row. And then all of a sudden it just sat there gathering dust. It did not do well at all in the shop that I worked in anyway. I ended up watching it and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Can't remember much about it. So yeah, get that one done definitely. I'd be very curious to see your review of that and your opinion of it. I do need to catch up with it, and I get the feeling that your review will spur me into action on that one. So yeah, get that one sorted, mate. Looking forward to that. And I'm just going to turn my notes over. Here we go. Oops. There we go. Right. Oh, why do they never sit right? There we go. That's better. Now then, Chris, your VHS journey continues. You did a lovely video on Watership Down. Really impressed with that one. Cracking video, mate. I've not seen Watership Down for many years. I do remember the first time I saw it. I'd have been probably about 16 at the time. I wouldn't say it traumatised me, but it absolutely, like you, it was absolutely not what I was expecting. I'd not read the book, but I do remember the book being very popular in the 70s. So I watched this thing, and the first thing I thought was, probably about half an hour into it, is this really for kids? I mean, you just assume it's going to be a cartoon for the family, but it absolutely is not, and it's credited with basically traumatising a whole generation of children who didn't realise that this is a serious, pretty grim book about a group of rabbits that live in a warren, and life in the warren, and a group of them decide to break away and establish a new community. There are a lot of very disturbing scenes in there. I need to watch it again, and I can give you my thoughts on it sort of a few years down the line, as I say, because it's been a while since I've seen that one. But I do remember it not being disturbing, but I do remember thinking, my God, this can't be for kids, surely. So yeah, I will be taking another look at that. It was actually followed up by this film, another animated movie. I think it came about 2 years later, by Richard Adams again, based on a Richard Adams book. It was called The Plague Dogs, and it was set in a vivisection centre, which basically did experiments on animals. Another one that you would think, you would look at the cover and you think, oh, cartoon. You put it on and it's like, what the hell? This is depicting like animal experiments and stuff like this. I haven't seen that one since it first came out, and I do remember not liking it very much, basically for the scenes of the experimentation, and that was not very nice. So yet another one that would not actually be for children, but you would think it would be, if you know what I mean. That might be one to check out, Chris. It's called The Plague Dogs, Plague. Maybe I should give that another go as well. Do a sort of a double bill of Watership Down and The Plague Dogs. See if that traumatised me. We'll see how we go. So yeah, cracking vid, Chris. Keep them coming. Steve McCartney, loved your video on soundtracks, man. That was absolutely amazing. There were some cracking bits of music on there. I've managed to find the vinyl. It's my vinyl of the week. I'll show you that a little bit later. But yeah, I really, the doors was closed. I really enjoyed that video, mate. You've got to do more like that, without a doubt. And I'm looking forward to your next Criterion one. Happy birthday for last week, by the way. 21 again. So yeah, really enjoyed that soundtrack one, mate. As I say, it's made me dig out the vinyl I'd be tempted to actually get that on CD as well, because there's some wonderful bits of music on there, without a doubt. I'd forgotten. It's been so long since I played it. I'd actually forgotten how many tracks it had, and all the brilliant soundtracks of the films it was taken from. So, yeah, keep those coming, mate. Really, really enjoyed that. Guy Jessup Braithwaite, you swine. You don't like Mark Kermode at all, do you? I can't. Did I put a review on yesterday of his? I did. I put a review on. What it was, I'd watched a movie called Handsome Devil, and I thought, to save me reviewing it, I accidentally ran across Mark Kermode's review of it on YouTube. So I thought, I'll let him explain it. It's as good as. So I posted this, and let me read what Guy put. Here we go. He's a poncy, quiffed up knob with a sense of smugness because he watches black and white foreign films with subtitles and slags off blockbusters. And Tony slurps down whatever shite comes out of his gob and says, "Thank you, master." Jason would agree with me as well. Well, Jason didn't actually post anything on there, so I assumed he didn't see it, because I'm fairly sure he probably would have done. You put another one a little bit further down. I have no problem with black and white films. It's just when he pushes them over popcorn blockbusters like we're all peasants or something. He has a superior attitude that rubs me the wrong way. Don't hold back, mate. Just let it fly. How can I put this? Years ago, and I said this the other week, we had good old Barry Norman. Now, Barry Norman was very straightforward. He either liked a film or he didn't. He gave the reasons why he didn't like it or why he liked it. It was all fairly straightforward. He wasn't arty or anything like that. Mark Kermode is a completely different thing. Now, the problem is we don't really have much of a choice. Mark is basically the only guy that reviews movies on a regular basis on TV. And I've just kind of got used to him. Yes, I know he can be a little bit pretentious and a little bit arty, and I'll sometimes listen to him and think, I have no clue what you're talking about. But there's just something really fascinating about it, about the things that he notices in movies. He will watch a movie and he will see things that, when he says these, I think, my God, I would never have thought of that. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, I know you don't like this kind of thing. It's just not you, is it? But I just find him really interesting. I could listen to him for hours. I've actually bought a couple of his audio books on Audible, and I'm really looking forward to getting into those, which they detail his journey from sort of newspaper critic to basically Britain's leading film critic. I know there are a lot more, but I mean, I love listening to his podcast on a Saturday. He also does a soundtrack show on Scala Radio, which I listen to. So I've just kind of got used to him, but I do get where you're coming from. Yes, he can be a little bit obtuse and a little bit out there. And like I say, every now and then he does say stuff, and I think, what on earth are you on about? But I think he's wonderful, and I think Caroline likes him as well. So, sod you. We're all entitled to an opinion. So, but I think I better move on from that one. Actually, where are we? Oh, now then. 50 years of film. One of the movies that came up is a film called Freddy Got Fingered. Never heard of it. I remember the artwork from many, many years ago showing the guy, is it Tom Green? So I was kind of familiar with that bit of it, but I had no idea what it was, and a comment came underneath that particular post which said, I don't think Tony could cope with it, or something like that. I'm not really sure it's Tony sort of thing. Now obviously that's like throwing the gauntlet down. So I've tracked this movie down, and I will be taking a look at it. I'm going to go into it completely blind. I know nothing about this film, nothing at all, apart from the fact that I've seen Tom Green in movies like, he did a lot of movies like Euro Trip, Road Trip, sort of the college teen type movies, and I'm guessing this is probably going to be the same. I don't know. I think the less I know about this, the better, but I'm really curious to know what it is that you guys think I can't cope with. I'm so tempted to go onto the IMDb and read some reviews and just get an idea of what I'm up for, but I think that would probably spoil the effect. So I will be taking a look at it. I've tracked it down, I've got hold of a copy, and I'll be watching it hopefully sometime during the course of this week, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. You guys seem to think that you know already what my thoughts are going to be on this. You're probably right, I don't know, but I may surprise you. But Freddy Got Fingered, I mean, that's a hell of a title, isn't it? I mean, all sorts of images came into my mind with that one, but I shall reserve judgment until I've actually watched the film. But yeah, that was a bit like throwing the gauntlet down. So if you think of any others that you don't think I can cope with, let me know, and I'll try and be brave enough to take a look. I've already got a couple of recommendations from Chris from a few weeks ago that I need to take a look at. The Passion of the Christ and Apocalypto, which are two Mel Gibson movies. Now, The Passion of the Christ, there are two cuts available of it. One is a sanitized version with a lot of the violence cut out, and one is a full-on strong uncut version. And I'm so tempted to watch the sanitized version because I'm fairly sure the uncut gory version I'm not going to get on with, but we'll see how we go. But that's the kind of thing, I mean, if you can think of any that you know, that you think I might not be able to cope with, throw them at me and I'll give them a go and see what I think. The other little bit of news that I got quite excited about, Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, I love this one. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I love this movie. It's being released as a director's cut on 4K very, very shortly, and in a box set with a load of extras. Now, as you know, I'm going to be upgrading to 4K very, very soon, so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what Star Trek the Motion Picture looks like in 4K. That's probably going to be one of the first that I do watch when I get my setup, next to Close Encounters, which I've already got. I think that's the only 4K. Have I got another one? Can't remember. But that I definitely will be getting Star Trek the Motion Picture. So I was really pleased to see that that's going to be coming out soon. What else have I got here very quickly? The website. As you know, there's a RetroMovieZone website. Now, I need your advice, guys. I haven't posted anything on there for a good 3 months. I use it mostly for long reviews or longer reviews. The shorter reviews I tend to put on Letterboxd. I need some advice on where to go with it. I don't want to let it go because it was the website that started all this in the first place. And what I want to do is build on it. So I need to know what you guys think. If you want to pop over and have a quick look and tell me what you think I should actually do with it. Should I use it as an online diary to keep a record or to tell the world of what I'm actually watching? Should I just keep posting longer reviews on there, shorter reviews? Just pop over, have a look, see what you think, and tell me which direction you think I should take it in, because I keep looking at it and I'm a little bit stumped with it. As I say, I don't want to let it go because it's the website that kicked all this off in the first place. Without that, we'd have had no YouTube channel, we'd have had no Facebook group, no letterbox, no nothing. It just wouldn't have happened. So I'd be curious to know if you've got any thoughts on which direction I should take the website in. What I want to do is basically sync it all together and have it all working in harmony, sort of thing, if that makes any sense. So pop over, have a quick look and let me know what you think. Right, I'm coming up to 30 minutes, so I'm going to take a break. Gather my thoughts for 5 minutes, which will seem about 10 seconds to you, so you'll get another look at that wonderful clapperboard that Dave Lowe designed for me. I'll be back in a few seconds, folks. Take care. Hey up you lot, welcome back to part 2. I really must get to grips with that camcorder that I've got. I wouldn't need to take breaks then. Right, one thing I forgot to mention in the first half was the trailer dropped for the new Orphan movie. I haven't watched it. I probably will take a look at it, but as for the movie, to be honest, I found the first one way too intense. Um, there were quite a few scenes in there that I had real, real trouble with. The arm in the vice being one, I thought that was absolutely horrible. So I'm not really sure whether I'm up to a sequel. I believe this is actually a prequel, but we'll see. I'll probably look at the reviews when it comes out, and I'll probably rely on you guys to tell me whether or not I'm actually going to like it or not, because I think you know pretty much what I can cope with and what I can't. So I'll leave that one with you. Now then, bin it or keep it for this week. It's a bit of a cheap one. I found this one. I didn't even realise I got it. Godzilla. Now this is the 2014 movie. I haven't watched it. Maybe I should watch it. I don't know. You tell me. But I was not a huge fan of Kong. Was it Kong versus Godzilla that came out last week or the year before? I watched that and was distinctly underwhelmed by it. Now I've read a few reviews of this one, and apparently a lot of it takes place at night. You can't see an awful lot of what is going on. I'm not really sure whether I'm up for this one. I'm tempted just to bin this one straight away without even looking at it. Now, if I hadn't seen Kong versus Godzilla, I probably would have given it a chance. Who knows, I may do yet, but I can't honestly see it. I know, Jason, you didn't like this at all. So let me know, you guys. Should I actually give this a chance before I consign it to the charity shop? Let me know. But personally, I'm tempted just to give it away and pretend I've not even seen it. That's bin it or keep it for this week. Sequelophobia. I started these last week. I watched the original again, which I absolutely loved. Remember going to see that at Burton Odeon, and coming to the end of the first 15 minutes, the initial car chase, and thinking, bloody hell, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. For those of you that don't know, it's an Australian movie. It is, I won't say it's Mel Gibson's acting debut, because it wasn't. I believe he starred in a movie called Tim a couple of years previous to this. But this was definitely his breakthrough. Directed by George Miller. I think this cost something like 35 million to make. That was Australian dollars. And it made over $100 million worldwide, so it was an absolute smash. The only place it didn't take off, believe it or not, was the United States, America. They'd never heard of Mel Gibson, they'd never heard of Mad Max, and they didn't take to it at all. Then along came the sequel, which I watched yesterday for the first time, Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior. Really, really enjoyed it. What a cracking movie. I'm going to stick my neck out and basically say I'm going to think that number 2 is probably the best out of the 4. But I'll reserve judgment until I've watched Beyond Thunderdome, which I'm looking forward to watching because Tina Turner's in it, and I love the track We Don't Need Another Hero. Absolutely adore it. So I get the feeling that it's going to look amazing just to have that in it. And as for Fury Road, don't know, but I'm going to watch it. But Mad Max 2, absolutely superb. So yeah, really, really impressed with that. So Sequelophobia is going quite well. One that I came across last week, somebody mentioned it to me, asked me whether I'd seen the Toy Story movies. Now, I've never seen a Pixar movie ever, not one. And I'm guessing that from all the positive things I've heard about Toy Story, this is probably the series that I should take a look at. Lightyear came out last week, and it's got very, very disappointing reviews, basically saying it's not the same as the other Toy Story movies, all this kind of thing. So what do you think? Do you think I should take on the Toy Story movies next, or is there another franchise after the Mad Max movies that you would like me to take a look at? Let me know. Right, reviews for this week. I'll make it as quick as I can. First one, The Incredible Hulk. Now this is the 2008 version. It didn't go particularly well review-wise when it first came out. Box office takings were a bit disappointing for this one. I absolutely loved it, and I know I'm probably going to be a bit controversial saying that, because I've had people telling me this week that it hasn't really got a place on the MCU timeline. It's probably the weakest entry in the MCU timeline. But I have to say, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this one. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's probably one of my favourites so far on this MCU journey that I'm taking. I really, really enjoyed it. There were some wonderful nods to the original series. If you watch in one scene, Edward Norton is watching the TV, and there's a movie on there featuring Bill Bixby, who played the original Incredible Hulk. Lou Ferrigno played a security guard in this one, and he was the original Green Man, the Hulk. And also at one point you hear the piece of music, it was called The Lonely Man, and it was played every time David Banner was walking to his next destination, and that played. And I thought those nods to the original TV series were absolutely wonderful. Stan Lee made another cameo. I believe he does this in all of them, so I'm going to be looking out for him in the next one. But I loved it. I'm sorry. I know I probably shouldn't say that. I should say, yeah, it's not the best in this, but I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of it. I don't know whether there are any others Incredible Hulk movies in the MCU timeline, because I've not got that far with it yet. But yeah, the Incredible Hulk, thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. So there you go. Complete difference of opinion to pretty much everyone else. I believe the next one on the timeline is Thor. So I'm going to be grabbing a copy of that, and I'll let you know what I think of that one when I've watched it. Especially in the light of Thor, is it Love and Thunder, that's just come out? And that's getting blinding reviews. So I'm looking forward to catching up with the Thor movies. Not sure whether to buy just the first one, or whether to buy, there's a little box set for about 15 quid of the first three on Blu-ray, so I'm tempted to possibly go for that. But that's going to be the next one I tackle. That's going to be within the next week or two, so I'll let you know what I think of that. But I have to say, The Incredible Hulk, thoroughly enjoyed it. Contrary to popular belief, it's not as bad as you would think it is. So if you haven't seen it, give it a go. I thought it was great. Really, really enjoyed it. I watched last night, Pizza on a Movie Night, Bob's Burgers, the movie. Now, if you're not familiar with Bob's Burgers, it's an animated series that I believe it's on ITV 2 or 3 at the moment. They do a double bill sort of most nights. It's just about your average American family who run a burger joint on the coast. It's very, very Simpsons-ish, sort of Family Guy-ish, but nowhere near as offensive and nasty as Family Guy is. I kind of lost interest in Family Guy a while ago. I think it's getting a bit too nasty and horrible. But Bob's Burgers is absolutely brilliant. I love that series, so I was really, really sort of up for watching the movie version. So we popped it on last night. Do you know what? It's all right, but it's nothing special. It's pretty much 3 or 4 episodes all strung together. That's how it felt. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't watch it again, but there were a few laughs in there. I will say that if you've never seen the series, you could quite happily watch Bob's Burgers, the movie, and not worry about having seen a single episode of the series. There were a few laugh out loud moments in there, but nothing special. As I say, it's not one that I'd watch again, but it was an enjoyable enough way to spend an hour and a half with a pizza. So yeah, I'd recommend it, but I'm pretty sure you will only want to watch it once. So that's Bob's Burgers, the movie. Right, what have I been buying this week? I'm back on the Amazon trail again. I swore I wouldn't do this because I'm supposed to be thinning the collection out, but it's not really working out very well. This first one was recommended to me by a lady that I work with, Donna. Hi Donna, if you're watching. she's a great fan of world cinema, like me. She loves Australian movies, and she recommended this one to me. I mean, what do you think? Animal Kingdom. It's a gangster movie. The people that you've got in there, you've got Ben Mendelsohn, Joel Edgerton, and Guy Pearce is in this. So I'm looking forward to having a look at this. It's apparently brutal as hell. The Daily Mirror calls it on the back here mean, moody, and magnificent. So I'm really looking forward to having a look at that, but I'm probably going to keep the remote control handy, because when Australian films are brutal, they are brutal. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having a look at that. That's Animal Kingdom. This one, I've heard a lot about this, but I've not seen it. The Appointment stars Edward Woodward. It's a horror movie. That's pretty much all I know about it. Something to do with a supernatural power. Who knows? But it's a BFI release, so you've got a ton of extras on this. And I heard a lot about this a few weeks ago, and I thought, you know what, to hell with it, I'm going to order this. So I'll let you know what I think of that when I finally get around to watching it, but I'm looking forward to getting into that one. And finally, I saw this one on offer. I have loved this film for so many years. The Day of the Jackal. Basically about an assassination attempt on the French president, Charles de Gaulle at the time. This was made in 1973, stars Edward Fox. And what's unusual about this one is pretty much the whole story is told through the eyes of the assassin, rather than the police that are trying to track him down. It is fascinating, the meticulous amount of detail that he goes into creating fake passports, paperwork, photographs, arranging for the weapon to be built. It is just brilliant. I haven't seen this for a year or two, but I saw this on offer, the Blu-ray, for about £7, so I thought I'm definitely having that. If you've never seen Day of the Jackal, I 100% absolutely recommend it. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm really glad I've got that one in the collection at last. Now, book for this week. I think you'll be familiar with this one. Kingdom of the Spiders. You all know that I love this movie, absolutely adore it. I've loved it since the first time I saw it in 1977. Again at Burton Odeon. This was. It was on a double bill with a Canadian movie called The Redeemer, which was an X certificate. Kingdom of the Spiders was a double A, which was over 14s, but unfortunately, the X certificate sort of overrides the double A, and it became an X certificate double bill as such, which means I couldn't get in to see it at first. I tried twice to get in, I couldn't do it, and then my aunt volunteered to go with me, and she knew somebody that worked there and got me in. We went in after The Redeemer had finished. That was the supporting film, so all I saw of The Redeemer was the closing credits. And then this came on, and I absolutely loved it. Creeped me out because I hate spiders, absolutely hate it. And this is the paperback novelisation of that. I got this from a newsagent in 1977. Do you remember when they used to have those wire racks that used to rotate, and they had books and stuff on them? It was on one of those, and this cost, I'll get this, 65p. That's all it was. And the minute I saw the cover and saw the words, the sensational film that turns horrific nightmare into flesh-creeping fact, I had to see this. I had to see the movie. I read this book over and over again. I've read it so many times. As you can see, like all my other books, old books, it's very, very faded. Even the cover, that was pure white when I bought it. Not anymore. So yeah, that's my book of the week. This is an absolute favourite of mine. I haven't read it for quite a few years, but I intend to now, definitely, and then have a watch of the film again, because I do love both of them. So that's the book of the week, Kingdom of the Spiders. Right, soundtrack. Steve McCartney, you will love this. This is the album version of the CD that you reviewed on your video this week. This has got a lot of tracks on it, and it's a gatefold sleeve. If I just open it out as best I can, there you go. You've got pictures of pretty much all the movies that are featured in there, and it features music from you'll know this if you've seen Steve's video, The Killing Fields, Merry Christmas Mr. Lawrence, Chariots of Fire, Local Hero. What a beautiful film Local Hero is. That's another review I need to do at some point. The Wall, Passage to India, Gandhi, Company of Wolves, Another Country, love that movie, Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express, Dance with a Stranger, that's the story of Ruth Ellis, the last woman to be hanged in Britain. Cal, Comfort and Joy, Gregory's Girl. What an absolute joy Gregory's Girl is. Water, and you've also got Always Look on the Bright Side of Life from The Life of Brian. That's the back, and that's the front. I am tempted to buy this on CD because I would love this playing in the car. This would be perfect to listen to, easy listening stuff on the way into work. But that's my album for this week. Right, Quote Encounters will be back next week, and I'll tell you for why. Because I forgot to write one down on the notes, and I can't think of one straight up. I'll tell you what, I'll give you an easy one. Try this. A boy's best friend is his mother. A boy's best friend is his mother. That is so bloody easy. You'll all get that one. But that's Quote Encounters for this week, and it's only straight off the top of my head because I couldn't think of any other ones to do. Right, that's it for this week. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. To my 3 new subscribers, Will, Jordan and Ty, hope you're enjoying the content, guys. As I say, feel free to join the Facebook group. I know Will's already joined, and join in with what we're doing on there, because we have a great time on there. Thanks ever so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe. That would be amazing. And I've just had a message from Rick from Old AF, basically saying that he's added my site to his YouTube homepage. So thanks for that, Rick. Really, really appreciate that. And I apologise for calling you mad as fuck earlier, but you are. So yeah, really appreciate that, mate. That's literally hot off the press. I got a message on that 15 minutes ago, so I'm dead chuffed about that. I'm going to be having a look at that in a minute. So yeah, join me again next week. I'll be back with hopefully more of the same. Have a great week. Don't be thrown into a blind panic by the government and the news about this heat wave. It's 2 days, for Christ's sakes. Yes, it is hot, but just keep out the sun when you can. Drink loads of water and be sensible. That's all it takes. But the government don't want this. They want us all panicking like hell like they did about COVID. So I say enjoy it. You know what I mean? You won't get temperatures like this again in a hurry. So yeah, have a great week, folks, and I will talk to you all again next week. Thanks ever so much for joining me again, and I'll talk to you soon. Ta-da.